welcome back to the second part of our Purls of Wisdom how-to video series. Now, this is the screen I left you on last time. It's our data that we downloaded from the Met Eireann website. It's completely raw data, and now we're going to work with it to create our pattern. So let's just start up at the top left. So this just tells you the station name, Dublin Airport. That's what we're working with in this example. The height of the station above sea level and its latitude and longitude. And then when we move down, this part here is explaining what the abbreviations across the top of all of these numbers mean. So as we can recall from the last video, what I was interested in is mean air temperature in degrees C. And as we can see, that is mean T. So what we need to be looking at is this column here, which is this data. So what I'm going to do before we do anything else is just get rid of all of these other columns that I'm not interested in. So what I've done there is I've just clicked in the top cell and dragged across and down until I've highlighted all of that data. Now that it's highlighted, all I need to do is right click on it and go down to clear contents, and it's all gone away. So the next thing that I want to think about is what I want my finished project to show. And I want each row of my knitted piece, because I'm a knitter, to be 1 year and the colour of that year to show the temperature. So what I need to think about is how I'm going to get this data that we've sorted out here into yearly instalments. So to work that out, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new table. So I need to think about the years that this data shows, and then how I'm going to make this monthly data into yearly data. So I'm going to do that by thinking about averages. So we all know how to make an average. You do the sum of the numbers over the number of the numbers. So I'm going to have a column for the sum of the mean temperature. And then I'm going to have a column for the number of months in a year, which unsurprisingly isn't going to change. That's going to stick at 12. And then this column here will be where my mean goes. All right, so if we now have a quick eyeball through the data, we can see that it starts at 1941 and goes down to somewhere. Whoops, where's it gone? Gone too far now. Goes down to 2020. But if we have a look at that 1941 and 2020 values, we can see that there's actually only 1 month recorded for 2020. And as I record this, I'm in April now, so we obviously can't make an average for the year because there haven't been enough months in it yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click again on it and drag across and then just clear those contents because we can't work out a figure for that. And then if I go back up to the top there, somewhere a long way away, we can see that there's only 2 months recorded for the year of 1941. And again, that's not very helpful for making an average. So I'm just going to delete those there and move my cells up. So I'm starting off in 1942 in January of that year. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort out this table that we're about to create, and we're going to start in 1942 and then go down to 1943, 1944. And now what we're going to use is something called the fill handle. So when Excel notices that it has a series of numbers, what it will do is it will continue on that series. So if we click and drag down, oh no, it's not recognized the series. So what we'll do is we'll do a simple formula. So we'll do equals the cell above plus 1. And then we've got to 1945. And now if we go to that fill handle again and drag it down, it will copy the formula. So it's basically just copying and pasting for you all the way down. And if we go down a bit, then, oh, we've gone far too far because we've only got to 2019 in the data. But if we click and drag down, then it copies the numbers that we want down. So I'll just get rid of all of those. And there we go. We have all of our numbers between 1942 and 2019 now. And then if we go to months and type in 12, because we know that there's 12 months in a year, click that fill handle again and drag it down. It's doing a brilliant job of copying and pasting that value for us. And there we go. So that is the easy bit sorted. Now we're going to move on to something that's a little bit more difficult. We're going to use a formula, a little bit like we used before, only a bit more complex. So just bear with me on this one and copy what I do exactly, and I'll put the formula in the description below so that you know exactly what to write. So for this one, we need to sum up the values every 12 rows. So we just want to sum up those 12 and then the next 12 and keep going. So to do that, we type in equals sum. So we're telling Excel that we're doing a sum, we're summing up some values, and then we're going to offset that and start at a very precise cell. So we're going to start at C21. So what we're going to do here is, because we always want it to start on that, we're going to lock it to cell C21. And to lock it, what we do is we put a $ first, and then our column name, and then a $ again, and then 21. So that's telling it that we're always going to be starting from that cell. And then after we put that in, what we're going to do is a comma. We're going to open our brackets and tell it that we're going to be working with rows. Open and close some brackets. Then tell it we're going to be working with rows again. And starting, row, there we go. And starting from that very particular cell again, $C, $21. And we'll close those two brackets. And then we're going to put in the asterisk symbol, which is above the 8. So if you press shift and then 8, there are 12 months in the year. So we put in 12, 0, 12, 1, and then close those brackets twice. And we have our value. So what that's done is it's added up all of those numbers there, or sorry, all of these numbers here for us, all of the months between 1 and 12, it's added them all up. So now what we can do is we can just click and drag down using that fill handle again, all the way down to 2019, and it's done all of those additions for us, which is brilliant. So now all we need to do is we need to calculate the mean. So as we can remember from our primary school maths, to work out the mean, we have the sum of the numbers across the top divided by the number of the numbers. So we've got our sum of the numbers and our number of numbers. So we need to do another formula much easier than the last one, which is equals the sum of the numbers divided by, which is a / in Excel, the number of the numbers, which is this cell here. And then we just click enter, and that is our mean value. So if we go to the fill handle again, and then click and drag down, we have our averages all worked out, which is brilliant. So this is the main part of the maths sorted. We've sorted out all of our means and our averages, and the next thing to do is to work out how these averages differ from that long-term average that we spoke about in video number 1, so the 30-year average, and that works out whether a year is colder or warmer on average than that average. So if we type in 30-year, not a year, 30-year average. And you might be able to remember that for this set of values, that data is 9.8. And we can use the fill handle to copy that all the way down to the bottom. It's a brilliant tool, that fill handle. We've got 9.8 the whole way. And then we can work out the difference between the mean and the 30-year average by doing a very, very, very simple calculation, which is equals, so you're telling Excel that you're going to do a sum, equals the value minus the average. And there you go. So we've now worked out that in 1942, the average temperature was minus 0.6 degrees different from the 30-year average. So we've got a colder than average year there. So if we use the fill handle and pull that down, then we found out all of the values there. We found out how each year differs from that 30-year average, and therefore whether we have a warmer or a colder year than average. And this column here that we've worked out, this is the final column that we're going to use to give a colour to that year. So I'm going to end the video here, and in the next video we're going to work out how we're going to assign colours. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next